Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over what I think are the best looking design-wise Palmon and Palworld, or Pals and Palworld, my bad. So, what I will not be doing in this video is going over what are the best pals and what are the worst pals, because this game has a progression system and I don't think it has a PvP yet. I might be mistaken. It has like a Rust-like element, but I don't think you can actually tear down structures of your friends. But maybe if you're in a an outline environment is what I'm saying, you might be able to tear down structures of your friends if you have 4 people in it. Pretty much how this game works is the longer you go, these pals, the first ones, kind of the first stages, fuse together to make stronger pals down here, which would be stronger. So it's kind of useless to make a video over that. But anyway, let's get into the designs. And by the way, I do have the names pulled up on my other screen. I don't know them off the top of my head. This game is very new still, and I don't have enough time to memorize all of them. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first off, we got Lamball. Lamball is a sheep pal, very heavily inspired. I like the simplicity of it. It does the sheep aspect very well, therefore it goes in B tier. Next up, we got the cat. The first cat you see in the game is going to be, let me get his name real quick. Cativia or Cativa. It goes here. I don't like it as much as the sheep. I think it's a very basic design, and I really don't like how it stands up. This is my opinion. Next up, we got the chicken. This thing is it matches what it's supposed to be, right? But I don't like the fact it takes super literal the fact it's a chicken. And this is Chickapee. That's how you say it. If I don't say all of them, I'm sorry. So Chickapee is very literal in the sense that it's a chicken. It does a job, but I think it's very bare bones. Next up, we got Liftmonk. This is a chipmunk grass pal. I like its design. I like the ruby on its head, or I would assume it's a ruby or something along those lines. I like how it pairs with the red eyes and then the cherries on its chest. And then the green tail, it gives it a really big... I really do like this design a lot. It just all kind of seems to flow really well with each other. Next up, this Fire Fox pal. So we got Fox Parks. This one goes in A tier. I think it goes above the sheep. I like the hoofs on it are all fire. The tail's fire. It is just a solid fire pal design, or very similar to Pokemon design. Next up, we got Fwok. Kind of an annoying name to say, So I don't like this one as much. I think the duck design, it just doesn't do the duck design that well. They could have stemmed away from the circular head and probably did something more closer to a duck, in my opinion. Everything on here I think is overcomplicated it just doesn't flow well. There's a lot of shape stuff in here that I just don't like, and to each their own, but I don't like this one a lot. Sparkit is probably the best Pikachu-like clone in this game for sure. Sparkit, I do like the Chipmunk better, but Sparkit's very solid. When I saw this, I was very excited to catch it. I like the lightning bolts, the synonymous between it. I think it might overdo it a little bit with the lightning bolts, but it's not bad at all. But overall, very solid design. Tansy, it's just a monkey. I'm not super against it. I'm not super for it. Next up, we got this Ruby. Ruby is... I still think in my mind, it goes in like the bottom A tier. It has the bow. I think the design of it is the horse type look to it. The head's kind of smushed together, and the flame on the top of its head is very unique. And I like the back of its design, like how its back is it looks kind of like a skirt on the back, but not really a skirt. It's kind of just like part of its body. It's very, very interesting. So we got Panglet. Panglet is very similar to Chickapee in the sense that it's just very much from its base design. I do like its red dot, but I'm not going to cut it too much slack. I'll put it above it, though. Next up, we got... It's kind of evolution, per se. It's not really an evolution. It's called fusion in this game, but... Penking, solid design. I do like this design a lot. It has this necklace thing that this one has, but this time it has the necklace thing with a more spherical shape And I do like the whole aspect of it. It's very unique. Maybe you combine these two. I'm not for sure. You probably do. Joltog, this is my favorite, by the way. This is my favorite base, like stage 1. I like this one a lot. I just like the hedgehog form of it. It has the electrical kind of spikes. Very aggressive and cute looking at the same time. I like the design a lot. There's also an alternate version for it. I'm not going over the alternate versions because this video will take very long as is. And the alternate versions are just recolorings, essentially. They're not shinies, but they're recolorings for the most part. So we got Gumas. I do like this design, but I also, in my heart of hearts, know this design is too simple to be above a C tier. I personally think it's like here. It's very simple, but what I do like about this one I like to point out is this head's here, but the body is like based off the head, so it's kind of like Ditto in that fashion. But it's one of the only ones that does that, so it's actually like a morph head and body at the same time. I think there's a squid down here. Yeah, this one that does this kind of the same thing. But the body's more so morphed with his head, which is very cool. Next up we got Vixie. Vixie, I caught this one today. I'm not a huge fan of it. I think if I was rating this, I think it is a normal type. So there's a normal type in the game. Yeah, it's a normal type. Very indicative of a normal type. It's nothing really special. It has the pointy ears. It relays that it's a cat / fox. It does its job, but it's nothing special. Hucrates, kind of a play on Socrates. I think this could have been done a lot better, if I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put this one below Vixie and above the Penguin. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I normally am fans of these. I just think the hat kind of throws it off, or maybe it's the body, but either one, I don't really like this one a whole lot. It's unfortunate because this evolution or fusion is very cool. I like it. So this one's T-Fant. I know this. So T-Fant, I like his design. It reminds me of the elephant from Adventure Time. The cute ears along with the kind of fire bulb at the top to, take the teacup off is a very cool trait it has. And obviously the elephant trunk on the front. So yeah, I do enjoy that. Depresso, I'm not a huge fan of the whole depression play, but I do think it's cool that they did that. I'll put it in, it's above the monkey. I like the eyes. Being depressed just kind of just sucks. So it is what it is. Creamus. This one has a very strong Eevee influence from Pokemon. The ears are very Eevee-like. The little thing on the top of his head is Eevee-like. The eyes are even Eevee-like. I have Eevee on top of my desk. So the head is very Eevee-like. It's just in a cloud. And to be honest, I think they did that for copyright reasons, because if they had this thing as its normal body, this would be practically like an Eevee steel. So, yeah. The design, it's pretty hard to base this one, because the design really, to me, that's original is the cloud. I think for the cloud itself, and the whole thing incorporated, I like the color scheme. I like everything about it. It's just the fact that I know it's a very big, close rip-off to Eevee. It's kind of what I don't like about it. So we got Daydream. It's actually day, like daemon, demon. So it's Demon Dream. That's what this is. So like a nightmare type pal. I like the cosmic thing on the back of its head. In the game, it actually glows really bright at nighttime. And I think that's really interesting and very cool. So I put this one in A tier. I like watching this thing float around. It's kind of pretty. So Rushor up next. Very basic. Nothing crazy going on. It's basically a warthog or a hog. It's just nothing crazy going on here. It's just what it is. I think Nox, which is this next one, is actually for a PAL that is supposed to be a more like ghost dark type. I guess in this game it's only a dark type. It doesn't hit home with me. I think the cape is it's not the greatest, in my opinion, design here. It's definitely not on this tier lit. It's probably up here. I'll give it high C tier. That's what I'll give it. I'm not a huge fan of this. It's probably low. It's like B minus. That's really what it's like, B minus. So I think putting it down here, I can't do that though. It's probably C plus. It's debatable between those two. It's like borderline B. I'm not a huge fan of it, I'll be totally honest. It might be the eyes, it might be something, but I just can't. I don't really like it that much. This one I don't like. I'm sorry. Fuddler, it doesn't hit home with me. I think the arms are kind of janky. I think the head, the arm ratio, this thing, the ears are fine. The hair is fine, but the arm to head ratio is just kind of jank, in my opinion. So we got Killamari. I like this one. Kind of the other one that I was talking about that has the head to body, into the body. For its design purpose, I like this one a little bit more than this, just because I think you can't really do much with this squid, and they actually figured a way out how to make it look a little bit more unique, which is nice. The Sphinx is super sick. I like the Sphinx a lot. The tail, how it's like metal, the ears kind of this metallic, and the necklace. Yeah, it's pretty. I like this one a lot. This one's cool. This one also has an alternate form. Solare, I'm not a huge fan of. It goes into this category because it's really just a manta ray, and that's a ray in general, and that's, it doesn't have a lot going for it outside of being what it is. So we got Direwolf. I like this one a lot. Now I'm going to completely backtrack on probably what I just said. But this has a very strong wolf influence. It also has a very strong lichen rock influence. This design, I like a lot. I like it in the game too. So this one goes in S tier for me. I think that might be a little bit too egregious. Probably like very high A plus or S minus. But it goes in S plus or S tier. This Xatu type clone here, we got Tukatoko. I say it's not really, the body type isn't Xatu, but the markings on it are very reminiscent of Xatu. So I'm going to put it in A tier. I like the fact that they went out of their way to make something new here, even though it's very strongly based off Xatu. This design is actually super cool, and this is the best design, by the way, in my opinion, for these non-legendaries. Even in the game, I think this is the best design just in general. Like, how detailed this is for how simple it is actually outstanding that they did this by themselves, by the looks of all these other ones. I'm not like crapping on them, I'm just saying they did a really good job with this one. They made the small bunny ears. They made the kind of this small head with the flower on it. They made these little ends on there. It's like a complicated design, but very clear what the shape language is. And I do like that a lot about this one. So like kudos whoever made that. I like the cow a lot. I do like the cow a lot. Let me see. Is there one I missed? Yeah, okay, these two got flipped. So the cow is called Mozarina. And the next one is Bristola. This one, I'm still not sold on this. The thorns kind of throw me off. I think just the whole body ratio is kind of weird. I think I'm going to stick it here. I think the thorn, it's not bad, it's just the thorn ratio kind of throws me off. Gobfin, this shark fighting, wrestling looking thing, is definitely interesting. I'm conflicted because it kind of is goofy looking, but it's not like the worst. So I think it stays there. Kind of saying about the worst, this thing is much more strange. So Hangyu, I don't like a lot. It's unique in the sense that it's unique, but it's not like, this is the body right here. I guess I'm not a huge fan of disproportioned bodies. Maybe that's what it is. But the body is here, and the hands are down here. I don't really think there's a lot going on here to redeem this for me. So that's where that one goes. So Masanda, I just don't like these. I don't like the one in Pokemon either. The Beware or anything. It reminds me of that. And I don't like that one. I don't like this one either. So it's what I'm saying is I don't like how it's designed, but it's like better than all of these is how I'm saying it. Like, this is, to me, like, this is enough difference from the Panda source material that it makes it cool enough to where I'd want it on my team if I had to have it, but if I had anything else up here I wouldn't want it. So Woolly Pop is a very cool, it's a cute design for sure. The candy for its ears and the whole kind of body language of it being cotton candy with candy everywhere is very earning of its name. And I do like the fact that they went all out with this. I don't know if they knew about Gen 9 at this point, if they knew about Fido or anything like that, but it's very solid. I'll say that. It's So we got Capritry. This one I don't like a lot. This is probably the only like fully evolved one I really just don't like a lot. To me, like this one's like I can't give it really a C plus, but I'll give it like a very low B. The alpaca one, Melpaca, you know, nothing crazy, but I do like the boots on it. It's still a very basic design as far as the alpaca goes. It just has boots. Like these two, by the way, are like they just don't hit home with me really, but they're not bad enough to be down like anywhere in here. This one, the deer. I'm not gonna say its name because it's very hard to say, but the deer was probably the first one that I saw that I was like, I want to get this game now because before this I was kind of skeptical, but this one reminds me of Xerneas a lot, but it also is just neat to look at. I like Xerneas as well, but I also like how they just straight up made it blue tips with the purple like antlers. That's very neat. Next we got Nightwing. This is the first mod I think you encounter that you can fly on. It's pretty basic for that reason. It's just a normal type. It doesn't go there. It's probably like I think it goes like here. It's just I don't know. It's not really like any particular bird. It just doesn't wow me. It's just kind of there. Rabunny, cute. I think it goes probably above this guy. Just really cute. And Cinderman, very intimidating looking. I like this one. Put it here. I think it's more cooler than the penguin. Has an alternate form, by the way. Cinemoth, I'm not a big fan of. I don't. I've seen so many of these. I'm not a big fan of it. Put it in D tier. This one's debatable. So Arsox, on the picture, it looks like floating legs and a floating head. I know in the game it's probably going to be very bright, and it's just going to kind of really be pretty, I guess, as you can say. It's going to be like fire-like. I like the ram horns and everything like that, so we're probably going to put it in B tier, but the picture does not do it justice. Let's put it that way. But if I was to imagine this in game, it'd probably be like in B tier. This Clodsire looking thing is not doing it. That goes in the D tier. The mud. It's goofy, but I don't like it. So Quagnito, definite A tier for sure. I like actually that one more. So Quagnito is the evolution of this guy, but this one actually has a good like head to body ratio with the hat on it that actually makes the hat not look kind of goofy. And the cape is actually on it like its arms, which is a kind of a nice touch. It kind of looks like it has arms, but it doesn't, which is very unique. So we got Les Punk, so it's a lizard with a kind of hoodie on for like punk rock or something. You know, it is cool. I'm gonna put it like probably put it down here. I'm not a big fan of it, but it is very neat. I like the design of the hoodie and the lizard. Maybe if I saw it in game, I'd have like a different opinion. There's also an alternate for that. Loop Moon. Yeah, this one's hitting hard. This one's good. I like this design a lot. It reminds me of Absol. So that one goes up there. So we got Gale Claw. Gale Claw has blue tipped wings. You know, it has like some brown in there. Brown wings in general with the eyebrows. They're like green and blue. I think the color scheme is unique. I've actually never seen a color scheme like this. For the flying ones, I think this one's solid. So we'll put that one in A tier. Robin Quill. Humanoid mons, I never really get huge hype over. I'm being totally honest. They're kind of just stiff for me. I mean, I think this one's above that, but I'm not a huge fan of them. Let's put it that way. There is a variant for that. So we got Gory Rat. This one reminds me of Raging from Monster Hunter. I like his design. It's very aggressive. Probably goes low A tier to like high B tier. I'm not like super fond of it, but I do like it a lot. These Bs are super cool, by the way. So B grade, definite A tier. These two kind of go right next to each other. And Elizabeth. Maybe ahead of it. I like the Bs a lot. I think the Bs I haven't seen anything that takes kind of an insect and makes it into a like warrior, like a warrior insect. It has more of a human form, I understand, and I just said I don't like human forms, but taking it like this, you can't see the legs. You understand they're there, but you can't see the legs, and I think that's a very interesting way to put it. Especially when you have something like this where it's just very bare bones and much like a Pokemon to that regard. So we got Grintail, the thing from Alice in Wonderland. You know, it's it kind of this archetype has been done so many times for the cat from the Cheshire Cat. It's still a good arc to do. It's just it's been done so many times. I mean, I'm not a big fan of it, but I think it's in C plus. It's not the worst, but it's like in C plus. Sweet, I like these very little cute cream guys. They're cute. What can I say? Then the mustache guy, definitely on the top of this tier. Maybe not before the elephant, but we'll put him there. I like their fusion. So Sweepa for sure. Next up we got Chillet. So you ride this guy. He's a weasel. Very. It's long. It's one of the longer ones. I'll say that until you get to some big dragon stuff. I'm putting it in B tier just because it really does borderline this type environment, but it's different enough to where it's really not that much different than like a real life weasel. But I like the design, so it's going there. Univolt. It just has a lot of lightning bolts. I'm not like a huge disliker, but I'm not a big liker, so it goes like here. Foxicle. This one is cool. Well, it's cooler and like it's colder. I give this one a pass. It's ears that droop down, and then it has ears on top, and then it has like a little thing on top of it with two tails. It kind of gets into a little bit closer to the over design department for kind of what it is, but I like it. It's cool. It's very. They tried on that one. Prion, I'm gonna put it in A tier. I do like the mane on it, how it flows back. It's like electric fire. I don't know why these things on its shoulder blade are like two-dimensional almost, but everything else is very neat. I don't really know why it's a thing. That feels very weird to me. It's like it was just pasted on there like stickers. There's apparently an alternate for that. We got Rangedrix. The horns go up crazy on this. So I'm gonna put this one here. I like the fire electric look more than the ice for this. I also think the top row, or maybe it goes up too high, kind of throws me off a little bit. But the ears go hard. The neck to like kind of chest hair ratio is really cool. So overall, I like it a lot. This lightning dog, which I think is their Prevo, definitely goes up here. Greyhound. Yeah, that's solid. That goes up here. This one is by far my favorite of these like fox things, 100%. This thing has blue around its neck. The blue is really probably vibrant in the game. With these, again, with this like kind of like 2D pasted thing in the back, but the tail makes up for it and the really cool blue hooves. And the head is really neat. It looks like the one dog from the one game that has red stuff all over it. I forgot what its name is. This cloud thing, I don't know what it is, so I put it here, but its name is Dazi. And I think it evolves into Lunaris. This starts getting into some humanoid Pokemon, or pals, I should say. Similar to like Lopunny category. I think low B to like. The design is neat, but it starts getting in this like category that I don't really like particularly. So none of these really go above B. So we got Dinosaumon. It's just really awkward for me. I don't really know what's going on with this design. It has a flower on its head, I guess, but its design is very simple, and I don't mess with it. I'm sorry. This is one of those just my opinions, where I don't have a basis on that. I just don't like it. There's also another variant of it. This one is called Suffrant. It is not good. I'm sorry. This one I feel like had a sole purpose in the game, and it was to be a surfing pal. its design is based off that dinosaur that has four fins, like Lapras, but they like failed at Lapras's design, so it's not that great in my opinion. This one, I like this one. Solid design. It's because it's probably like a more ghostly like that I like. It's more aggressive. The face on it reminds me a little bit of like Jason. It is really neat how they did the light blue with the blue. I like blue and red. Those are probably my more favorite colors, and that's very neat. This thing is not that. That's the alternate form. So this one has an alternate. And that one, the ghost thing is called Marith. Dig Toys. They just basically ripped Blastoise's name and put Dig in front of it. This one is a very obvious kind of rip from that. They kind of even used the snapping turtle from Gen 7, if I'm not mistaken, Dredgenot, to kind of do this. I do like the iron spikes on its back. So it goes in A tier somewhere. I'm going to put it more towards the upper portion because I think it looks really aggressive and really neat. Tombat's up next. I actually have this one now. When I saw this, I was surprised of it because it was the first cool one that I actually saw. So this goes into high B. I like Tombat. I don't think it's as good as these, but I do like Tombat. Actually, I can switch these two probably. Move those around. So, Flambelly. Actually, there's one more. Hold on. So, Levander. No, I'm not messing with that. That one just goes there. Flambelly is a cute fire, kind of like Litwick, but it's more of a humanoid instead of a candle. I don't know if that was meant to be that way or not, but I'll put it in B tier. They did a good job with it. I don't mind it. So we got Van Worm. I like this one. It's a very kind of basic bare bones bird, but it does its job really well. I think it relays the information of kind of a nighttime, almost like doomsday type bird. It does that really well. There's something called they also have the alternate ice version. Bushi is a samurai. There's nothing crazy here, dude. This is, I mean, aside from it being very close to a samurai, I'm just not. It really does remind me very close to a samurai to the point where it's like not really special, if that makes sense. It's just a samurai. So, it is what it is. The colors on this one, this beacon art, I don't like it that much, really. The colors just throw me off. It's a cool design, but the colors really do throw me off on that. I like the design more than these, though. So we got Ragnarok. This one's the bright red and / orange is very, very neat. I think it would go above this rat. So, yeah, I like that one a lot. Ragnarok. Ketris, I'm not, like I said, this one actually has a lot more of a PAL / Pokemon-esque feel to it than the other humanoids, but these two are basically the same, and they go on more in the higher tier B. Just because you have more of the actual like whimsical values of these mons, in my opinion. This one I can't get around that one. That one I don't like. So by the way, the purple one up here, his name is Catris. The red one, his name is Wixen. And Verdash is this one. I don't like that one. This is one of the other exceptions for these humanoids are these two, because this one actually has this interesting aspect of like a flower, like fairy type thing. And I think it actually bypasses a lot of that like humanoid stuff. And for that, I applaud them for trying this because it is a very hard concept to do. And then this one is cooler than that. So, good job on that. Sibilix. It looks like Hatterene for the most part, Sablix, but this one I feel like is completely original. And that one is actually neat. So next up, we got Elphadran. You know, it has wings on its back, very similar to butterfly wings. I don't mind this one because I think, even though the design is simple, it's well executed and it relays everything it's supposed to for shape language, which makes this very, very eye appealing to me at least. And the color palette they choose for this makes the blue and orange is very a complementary type subject matter. Next up, we got Kelpsy. This is just a very basic one. I'm not like hating on it. It's just kind of there. This one looks like Primarina, which I guess is his fusion. And honestly, I don't really like Primarina that much. I don't like this one that much. And that one's name is Azurobe. Cryolinks is next. I think Cryolinks fuses with something with this one to get with something, and then you get this Cryolinks. It's aggressive looking, but it looks stupid. So it kind of takes like the best of both worlds. It's like so over aggressive it looks lame. It looks like a joke. I think it's better than this, but not by much. Not by much. Blazeow. This is a sick one. I like this one a lot. Yeah. Sticking this one here. I think this one just has some kind of nostalgia to me already, but this one's probably cooler than this one. I'm still keeping it that way though. It has nostalgia because like the first one I saw that I thought was really neat. Relaxaurus. Again, this one just has this very. It's not as neat as the other ones, but it has this very like simple aspect to it that it really reminds you as like a kid playing with dinosaurs. And I think that's why this one is like these two are kind of like kids playing with dinosaurs, and that's why it's really really neat. It's because they kind of bring back that nostalgia feel with these. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I think that is a great feeling whenever you kind of implement that feeling into a game, even if it was unintentional. So Broncherry, not into this. I'm actually not into this. That goes in C tier. This one actually has a lot of detail. And this one is humanoid, but it's not humanoid in the sense that it's supposed to be relayed as like Lopunny's humanoid. It's just like has legs. So I think the design actually choices on this. The design choices on this make it stand out greatly from everything else, which is what I think a stage 2 or 3 should do. If you have design choices for stage like 1 and 2s that are very like, depending on the third evolution, if they even have that, I think there's just 2 per fusions. Your final stages are supposed to have a lot of complexity but still relay information, and this one does that. So I do like that one a lot. This looks like a legendary. I'm not for sure. It might be a fusion still. It's okay. It actually looks kind of goofy. I like this one more. And that one's name is Reptirio, and the other one name is Petalia. This one is King Paka. I know that because I like this one. King Paka. It's really freaking goofy. It really is. But I like this one so much it goes in S tier. It's so goofy, bro. It's so goofy, but I like it. It's just funny. The mammoth one. I was about to say mammoth swine, but Mammorest. It just takes too much from the source code still, even though it's like a final stage. It goes in this tier. And it's better than this one. I don't like this one. It's okay. It's okay. It's not the best. Really, I could go here or here. It's just it stays so much with the source code. This one, this Abomasnow thing, it's actually cool. Wumpo, yeah, I'm down with this one. So Wumpo goes into B tier. I know, like I say I hate stuff and then I put it in B tier, and I say I like stuff, put it in B tier. It's because I'm saying relatively comparatively to everything when I'm making this list. Now, this beetle, this is where it's at. This is when you make cool designs look cool. So we got Warsect. Definitely a W design right here. This is a very good design. I'm not putting it in S tier just because the black only and the gold I think kind of throw it off. If that gold was maybe another color, it might be standing out a lot more and I might have put it in S tier. But I think the color scheme is what's holding it back. But the actual design is like very solid, especially for how simple it is and with the actual coding. Or like the core that it was based from, it relays that very well in a special way. So Fanglope, I'm not feeling it. I don't like it. That also has a pretty strong relation to Cobalion, and I don't really like that whole entire trio. Failbat, I'm pretty sure is a fusion of the Night Guy. Definitely a dub. I'm just putting him right in front of that because I actually think it's cooler. Yeah, I think it's more neat. This Ice Dragon is kind of lame for a more like final stage game, like a final portion game. Maybe it's supposed to be the nicer version of Ifrit over here. So I mean, it's okay looking. It's not like I wouldn't like it on my team. It's just not the greatest looking in my opinion. So Blazamont. So I guess it's not Ifrit, but it's Blazamont. Very strong, sturdy looking one. Personally, I think this one looks cooler. Actually, both of them look really neat. I like this one. No, I actually like this one more. Yeah, we'll put that there. Hellspray, not that neat. It's just it's cool in the sense that it's a bird, but the black and blue just they're not hitting home with this one. It's just I don't know. It just did not feel that good. Estegon, it has a lot going on. The boxy kind of the more box center of it makes it feel very awkward for what it's supposed to be. Like this is supposed to be like a legendary if I'm not mistaken. And the box, what I mean is the box, its body. It's very boxy, which means it's like grounded and it's the shape language. It just throws me off. I don't really like it that much. The Scorpion, on the other hand, does relay some sort of boss type energy. So this would go like around here. The Scorpion, I think, is missing some things that it could have to make it really feel really neat. It is very angular, which is what an aggressive thing's supposed to be. But it relays this information really well. I just think it could be maybe a tiny bit better. This Lucario clone has fingers. It actually has fingers. But as far as a humanoid goes, this is probably the most solid design you're going to get, in my opinion. And it's Anubis. Just straight up Anubis. They didn't even try to make a play on its name. Just straight up call it Anubis. You know, the design, I like the gold and blue. I like the shorts. The hands are just really throwing me off. Everything else is fine, though. This thing is cool. Yormantide. It's a play on Jormungandr. Very awesome design, and it kind of steals from Gyarados, but I'm fine with it because it has enough different from Gyarados to be unique. But it also looks very intimidating at the same time. It's like you could potentially be your friend. Like it's on the borderline of like a Digimon in that instance. This X thing I don't like. It's just a very awkward shape. Its symmetry is very strange. I'm not a huge fan of it. Suzaku, I'm not a big fan, I'm sorry. The big guy, the guy that's on the front cover, L, absolute L design. Out of all these, it's not my favorite. I don't really like these big cylindrical things. I like the more intimidating looking ones. For being a supposedly intimidating looking PAL, being that it's circular is very friendly looking, and it contradicts its own and basically shape language into its actual language as a character or emotions it's trying to relay. So it's very contradictory to its own self, in my opinion. Lene or Leland, actually a really neat design. I like the big skirt, very much like Gardevoir. I think it's an A tier design. Actually, I like it more than this. No, maybe not. I would have the bird over this. It's a very cool design though. This bird is very, it has the mohawk from Romans, Spartans. The designs, the patterns on it I do enjoy. It's for the most patterns I've seen, I think, on the entire spectrum here so far. Definitely an A tier. Pretty much almost all the birds except the normal one are A tier. I like them a lot. This guy is very humanoid, and he's also slouching over with very little grounding on what it actually is. I'm not a huge fan of this one, I'll be honest. It's like okay. And it's like a legendary too or something on par with that. So maybe if I see it in the game it'd be totally different. The Griffin, this is a Griffin. This one's awesome. I like that they put a Griffin in the game. Because a Griffin is hard to put in the game. It's not really an easy thing to put in. It's called Shadow Beak. So I like the Griffin a lot. Next up we got Palidos. I can't get behind this one. It's just a dude with a sword. I really would, and I really wish it was a little bit cooler. And this one really just reminds me of Cerulean Edge from the new Pokemon games. It really does. I mean, the dual daggers are just glaring Cerulean Edge. I don't think they knew about it at that point, but it really does look like that. So they're both in B tier. Sorry, I don't really enjoy their designs a whole lot. This one looks very basic in comparison to all these other kind of legendaries, which I don't understand how Frostallion is actually considered legendary when you have all these other ones. I mean, when you're like looking at this, if it didn't have wings, it would be on par with like this design, for instance, just like cat design. It'd be more than that. For the design purposes, I mean, it's probably like sitting around here. Nah, it's lower than that. I don't really like the design, I'll be totally honest. Jet Dragon. For Jet Dragon. You know, I think this one was also put in the game like this one down here, the Surf one. For the sheer fact to make a certain mon do a certain thing. So it just kind of got through, and I do like the wings on it though, so I'll put it in low B tier for the wings. I think the wings kind of sell it. Okay, that is it for me. This is my ranking on designs. So I'm going to kind of give a general overview of kind of how these categories worked in my mind. Now, I mean, this is how like my mind works, I guess, when I review these. So S tier, we got basically a bunch of either things I like from kind of real life, or I like the colors of, or I enjoy how they incorporated new things, like how this Gyarados kind of form, this her Jormungandr type looking one, is actually just pretty much a very intricate form of Gyarados to an extent, or very based off that. This Ifrit type thing is very unique, how it has the fire and the fire horns. The alpaca one is hilarious because it's just such a big body with a small head, and they do it very well with this design. The wolf, you know, this one could be argued at A tier, but I think the design of it is very unique to the extent of being like Lycanroc, that it's just it exacerbates the exact thing they want it to, and I think the design is very well put for what it is. This one I like because of how just spot on they did with like basically a complex design without overdoing it and making it based off of almost nothing and being like an actual real character in the game. Like this King Beetle here is based off a beetle, and you can't really tell this is based off of, and that's why I respect it so much, is that they basically took a very abstract idea and made it make sense while still being very intuitively designed well. This cow, solid design for a cow. The fox is also really cool. So yeah, that's kind of my S tier. My A tier is more of well-designed base Pokemon, in my opinion, or pals, with a combination of very aggressive, well-designed, fully evolved pals. So that's what A tier is pretty much. B tier starts getting into the mostly first stages. Some of the second stages are even legendaries, depending on what they are. But if they are that, I think it's either too over-designed, not enough design, or it's just very lackluster in the design. So, for instance, these two are probably over-designed in my opinion, while this one is under-designed to an extent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like it's very far off. It's just not, in my opinion, like better than the other ones. Now, most of these are just stage ones that I just think are pretty cute for the most part. C tier gets into the realm of they're not like anywhere near designed extremely well, in my opinion. They're just kind of there in their natural form. They're like if they're like a chicken, they're a chicken. If they're a hog, they're a hog. There's a few of them in here, like these two that I just really, or these three that I just really don't care for, or four. But like stuff like this, where it's just very simple designs, I just don't think are very that interesting to look at. That's just my opinion. D tier, I don't like these. That's just, I just don't like them. Like, that's me. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.